In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the most recent fixtures from this past weekend's Premier League games, and also why I don't believe Manchester City will win the Premier League this season. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video, and if you enjoy it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's get in this. Now, kicking the weekend off, we had Liverpool's 4-1 victory away at Brentford. Now, as a Liverpool supporter, this game had me a little worried because in the past couple of seasons, we've struggled playing Brentford in general, but specifically going away to Brentford for some reason. Now, the start of the game, I want to say like the first 20 minutes or so, Brentford were actually performing really well, and they were creating chances for themselves, but we kind of got in a rhythm, and towards the end of the first half, and obviously the second half, we started finishing our opportunities. We lost Curtis Jones early in the first half to injury, and then obviously Diogo Jota had to be stretchered off with an apparent knee injury. And while Darwin scored a worldie of a chip in the first half, he was subbed off at halftime to what we can only assume is an injury as well. And now, just to list off some of the injuries we have: Alisson Becker, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Jones, Jota, potentially Darwin, and even Szoboszlai. It just keeps stacking on how many injuries we have. And yeah, obviously the likes of Alisson Becker, Trent are really bad injuries that it's going to be hard for us to fill. But when you look at like the likes of Curtis Jones, he's been kind of an unsung hero for us. Obviously, Jota's performed. And when you look at the title charts, I think that Liverpool have the best strength of schedule in comparison to Arsenal and Man City, but they clearly are suffering from the most injuries, which is going to hinder our chances in the long run. And yes, Trent being out really doesn't hurt us because this Connor Bradley kid, he is unbelievable. But all in all, this game against Brentford from a short-sighted perspective is an integral 3 points that we had to get. But in the long term, these injuries are really starting to stack up, and I genuinely worry for us. Moving on, we have Arsenal's 5-0 victory against Burnley. Look, Arsenal are absolutely flying. In my personal opinion, Arsenal are the most informed team in the Prem currently, and I don't see any team beating Arsenal. A big thing with Arsenal is they are going to have to balance the Premier League and the Champions League, and I wonder how they are going to do that moving forward. Obviously, they're going to want to focus on the Premier League because they have an incredible shot at winning it this season. But I really don't care what anyone says. Arsenal, in my opinion, also have a chance at winning the Champions League. Just speaking honestly, I think that they're going to beat Porto both away and home, and they're going to advance to the next round. And yes, Arsenal's current form is flying, and I think that they can continue doing that. I just wonder if having dual focus on both the Prem and the Champions League will have an effect on their form in the Prem. But that is something that we're just going to have to kind of wait and see, and in my opinion, Arsenal are flying right now, and you can't take that away from them. They're certainly in the Premier League title race. And finally, the big one you've all been waiting for, Man City's 1-1 home draw against Chelsea. Just speaking candidly, I have not been that impressed with City this season, and that also goes for their game against Chelsea this past weekend. One key takeaway from this season is, in my opinion, Kyle Walker has dropped in form expeditiously. I know he has a lot of stuff going on in his personal life, and I wonder if that's factored into it. For instance, Raheem Sterling's goal in the first half, he took that ball, kind of stood Kyle Walker up, and was able to get a finish. In past years, Walker would never let anyone get that finish off. And after Sterling's goal, the remainder of the game, I just never felt as though City were really going to get back into it. And then Rodri scored a screamer, and to me, after he scored that, I felt as though that was kind of like City being like, we're going to get away with a point here, and they'd kind of be happy to do so. And in my opinion, City's 1-1 draw against Chelsea is exemplary of their lack of dominance this season that we've been accustomed to seeing in years past. Do you know who has shown unwavering dominance this season? Arsenal. It hasn't even been Liverpool, and I'll be the first one to say that. No matter what game I've seen Arsenal play this season, I have always had a feeling as though they were going to get back into it, and I do not feel that way with Manchester City. Were they the better team against Chelsea this past weekend? Yes. Were they dominant over Chelsea this weekend? No. And when you look at the remainder of the schedule for Manchester City, they have to play Liverpool at home, Manchester United, Tottenham, Arsenal. They have a lot of big games coming up against them. And I'm sorry, no disrespect to Chelsea, but this is Chelsea who you've drawn twice now this season. Liverpool just played Chelsea fairly recently, and the game was barely competitive. So yes, historically I would be wrong by saying this, but in my opinion, based on form, strength of schedule, all these things combined, Manchester City will not win the Premier League this season. But let me know what you guys think. Am I absolutely tripping for thinking City won't win the Prem this season, or do you see their drop in form as well? Leave a like, don't forget to comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.